Before you start watching this video, I think you should be warned this is not a how-to video. And if you want to know how to fix your heater, don't watch this video, because I approached this like someone who knew absolutely nothing and spent 3 days trying to figure out how to fix the heater before I went to YouTube and found some guy who told me how to fix it in like 20 seconds. So once again, this is not a how-to video, but if you don't mind hanging around with some old guy who's playing with fire and taking apart things that weren't probably made to be taken apart, and in the end achieves success, and you don't mind going through the process for, I don't know, about a half hour or so, then hey, watch, join me. Happy to have you with me in the garage. So I just wanted to give you that warning, because I know sometimes people in this world are in a big hurry and they need the answer right away, and they don't have time to watch some old thunderhead messing around with stuff he knows nothing about. The other people, they kind of got nothing better to do. So anyway, there's my warning. Don't watch if you don't want to, but if you want to, I'm happy to have you. See ya. 15 Bye. Years, long time. It's been a good one. Last time I tried to use it, wouldn't work. So I began to take it apart, because a lot of times what you get is spider webs and such as that. I get up in here and they build a web and they block the flow of propane or one thing or another, and they won't work anymore. Well, I looked up inside of this one and I can see a dirt dauber's nest in there, which that's worse than a spider web. So it's got these little clips on it, and I pushed this one. I took this screwdriver and I wedged it between this and this little piece that was down here, and I pushed this open and I wedged it out up here, and I did the same thing down here. I'm going to take this whole side off of it so that I can get my eyeballs over in there and see. I've got a switch here that needs to come off. That'll probably come off about the same way. Probably take a screwdriver and lift up on it. Might want to get a little bigger screwdriver to get that off. There. So that comes off like it's one of them. It goes on one of them. And with that off of there, I should be able to pull this thing open. See, my little button is over here still, that you push. Like when you light one of these, you push that button and that makes the spark happen, and that's still attached there. I don't necessarily need to get that off. All I need to do is get in here. See that dirt dauber's nest right there? That could be a problem. Who knows? Whether other kind of spider webbage and things like that are in there. Goodness gracious, quick ball of fire. I did spray a little carburetor cleaner in there, but it didn't seem to be good for it. It looked like it was a little damaging the plastics. So sometimes carburetor cleaner and plastic don't mix. I think I need to take the other side off, because it looks like that's where the burner ignites over there. So that's going to be a side where I have some sort of issue also. The little green wire here, I'm betting it was attached right there. Probably that grounds this to that. So on this other side, I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. I'm going to, there's a button in here that I can mash down, and I can get a screwdriver up in here, wedge this down in here, and kind of push that off of there. Do the same thing down here. I'll push that up. I might need to reposition my Let's see, I can probably get the screwdriver right on top of that. Push this up. Need to mash this button down and push that up. Probably if I stand this up, it'll work better. I can mash down on it while I'm sliding this off. So I'm going to show you this here. See this ball of fur and dust, and I call it spider webbage. But that's what I find often in these heaters. I don't know if the spiders are attracted to the light or the heat, but I very often find that right where your pilot light would be, and I'm guessing this is where the pilot light would be, because you see that tiny little hole right there. I'm guessing that might be where the pilot light would be, but even if it's not, it's somewhere. It's somewhere. But basically, spider webbage, dirt dauber nestes, and things like that are what tends to make these things malfunction. I'm betting if I hooked it up now, it should work. Look at that right there. That's the same kind of stuff right there. A bunch of spider webbage. All in that right there. But if I could get that thing out, so I could get to the back side of it, I bet I could do a lot of good blowing it out. Basically, that'll give you a way to get in there, and once you get in there, you can figure it out. Okay, I'm gonna stop this now. Love y'all. Appreciate you watching. Have a nice day. Hope you're ready for the big stormage that they say is coming. Okay, this is important. I said a while ago where the pilot light was. Actually, the pilot light is right here at the bottom of this thing. And I would have known that if I'd have been thinking. I would have remembered seeing the flame right there. So that's the part I got to blow out and clean out. And maybe I can get this out of here so I can see that better. We'll give that a try. Let's hook a bottle to it and see if we can fire it up. Okay, I got this hooked to that. I got this hooked to that. I'm going to open this, and I'm going to set my little lighter up here where I can get to it, and I'm going to push this down and turn it. Supposed to go a quarter of a turn. Push that. I don't see a spark. Let's get a light. Pull that right there out. Ah, that's the keys to the kingdom right there. Okay. So this is about a ½ inch. Yeah. And this looks like a 9/16. right, let's talk about what I've been up to here and a few things. I went yesterday. We had a big, you know how the news is. They're always like, every little storm that comes through is going to have to be so serious that you got to go buy bread and milk because you're going to be snowed in with no power for a month. Well, you know, honey baby asked me if we had a propane heater. Well, we got two back there. Actually, we got more than two. I've got a bunch. I've got several of these that look like this. Last time I hooked one up, they didn't work. And I had this Mr. Buddy heater, but it didn't work either. So my thinking was I'd take it apart and clean it out. But in the meantime, I went and bought, I went to Home Depot and the only propane heater they had was that one. Well, I didn't realize till I bought it that it requires a plug-in to work. The plug-in lights the heater and runs the fan, which is okay. It's actually okay for the garage, but I don't know if I'd want to run it in the house. Luckily, I did find another one of these Mr. Buddy heaters, so I've got a new one of them in the back of the car, still in the box, and I've got a new one of those, the kind that screw right into a tank. So I got those two. Although, based on the way the weather looks today, I don't think we're going to have any problems, at least not for a while. But in the meantime, I thought it would be cool if I had this one work. It would be nice to have two of these. These are made to be used in the house. They have that little heat panel where the gas heats up, which basically is supposed to burn all the gas, you know, because it heats up this ceramic screen. It's supposed to burn up all the gas and not put a lot of fumes in your house. I took all this apart, all these lines, and I could not blow air through this one. So now I've got it cleaned out, and I know I'm getting gas to this side of the regulator. So I blew stuff through this one, which is the main gas down here, and it was clear. I didn't take it off. I just squirted some carburetor cleaner through it, and I could see the little jet of carburetor cleaner coming out down here. Well, once again, YouTube saves the day. Those little thermocoupler things, they are a huge pain in the neck. And I remember, ever since I was a kid, wrestling with those things. I remember my dad having a gas stove in the house, and things wouldn't work. He had to go find one and try to replace it. Well, I just went on YouTube, and a guy showed me how to take one out, make it dysfunctional, and bypass it. I'm not going to tell you how to do that because somebody might do that and burn their house down. But I will tell you that there's a guy on YouTube that can show you how to do that, and I also will put a link to his video in my video. So if you've watched me in all this video I've shot, I've probably shot 2 or 3 hours of video. I've been working on it that long. You've seen how to take this apart and how to put it back together and how a lot of things work and how to clean out some lines and different things like that. But the actual fix came from a different YouTuber. Now I can turn this up and I can turn it down and I can turn it off and I can turn it back on. And basically I got my little push button starter working here. Back on. And I don't have to worry about the thermocouple or any of that. So that makes me happy. Now I'm going to put this back together, and this thing just kind of snaps together. These little things right here slip into some little things in here. Let's see if I can find where they go. There's little tabs that stick out on this thing in various places. See, there's a tab right there, and there's a tab right there. There's one there, and there's one there. When this thing comes onto here, these tabs down here clip into that. This part up here clips into this. You got these things that go inside of those things, and then you got this that goes in that handle that goes across right here. And the back side goes on it here, and then the little grill goes on it. The biggest problem I've ever had with any of these things has been the thermocoupler, and I may just see if I can't take the thermocoupler out of all of these. Like, I got one right there that doesn't work for the same reason. I got another double one down there. I think this one may or may not work, I don't know. But yeah, if I can figure out how to take those things out where you just light them and turn them off and don't have to worry about them, I'm okay with that. It's good for my purposes. Most of the time, these are only going to get rare usage anyway. And most of the trouble that you would ever have with this, other than that thermocouple, would be if you got spider webs all built into your stuff. A good place for spider webs is right there, and another good place for it is right over here where the pilot light is and all of that. So I'm going to turn this off. And I'm going to disconnect and turn off the tank. By the way, I love this tank because it has a it has a gauge on it. This is not a tank that a lot of places will fill because of this is not exactly like the new ones are with the big thing. But I had a guy tell me he could fill this kind the other day, so. I particularly like this for this kind of usage. For one thing, these kind of screw-in things will fit it. And for another thing, it's easy to look at your tank and see it's full. You don't have to pour any water on it or do any weird stuff like that. So I'm gonna let that cool down. I'm gonna put this all back together and we're gonna call it a day. And then I'm gonna have at those things and see if I can fix them. Oh, the joy. I have to turn that big heater off there to talk because it makes so much racket. But it does warm up the garage pretty good, I will say that. So this thing's working, and that's good. I'm happy with it. I'm totally happy with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to leave the... I've got mine connected to a line, by the way, that goes to a propane bottle. These things are made to run off these little bottles like these up here. But, you know, I might want to hook one of those up and leave it hooked up and running for days. We've gone camping with that one. We put it in our house when the power went off. We've used it for a lot of things. What I'm going to do once it cools off, I'm going to get me a big plastic bag. A lot of times when you buy something like that heater I bought there, it'll come in a big plastic bag like that. Well, I usually save the big plastic bag and put it over it like this welder right here. The reason I've got that plastic bag over that is because it gets so much dirt on it that you go to try to use it and it's just like this furnace here. Look how dirty that is. So I want this to be something that I can pick up and use when I want to pick it up and use it. So I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to unscrew it from that there. I'm going to find me a bag to put this in, and maybe a box too. And then I'm going to put it somewhere so that if power goes off, we need it, and I'll have it. Now I've got a second one of these that I just bought, and it's a brand new one of these. So I'm going to take the other one, probably leave it in the box with the hose that came with it. And that's another thing too, is spiders, dirt daubers, and all kind of things like to build nests in those hoses. So I'm going to, well, this thing had a dirt dauber's nest when I took it apart. So I'm going to bag it up. I'm going to bag the hose up with it and put them all someplace where if the power ever does go off, we have like a total electric house here. Up in Maine, we had wood chips, we had propane, we had fuel oil, we had wood, and what am I leaving out? Electricity. We had 5 different types of heat. Of course, we had 40 below temperatures up there too. But we always had some kind of heat, even if we had to revert to wood. Well, we don't have a wood furnace here. I don't have a pellet stove. I don't have any of that. So these will be my backup heaters for in the house. And I'm going to try to do what I did with that thing with this thing. This is another one of those heaters. This one screws into the bottle. These things work good when they work, but most of the time when they stop working, it's because this little thing, this little sensor thing here goes bad. So I might take that apart and see if I can disable that the same way I did that other one. I'd love to have those where you can just light them and let them go. I don't like to have to hold the things down. So thanks for watching. That's all I'm going to do on that today. Probably the next thing I'll work on probably be this radio mess. I just started messing with it and didn't get it finished, but and I got some car things I want to do. But I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. This has probably been a whole lot of useless video, because I know I've been working on this for 2 or 3 days. But you know, it may be that if I put this up, and I'm going to put a note like in the beginning of this video, if you're looking for how to fix something, might want to go find someone else's video. If you just want to see how it all comes apart and goes back together, or if you just want to spend time with me and hang out like some of my YouTube friends do, then hang out with me and watch it. Okay. I'll stop talking and I'll put this all away in a good safe place, and then we'll see what comes next. See y'all.